This time on Rad Rat Video, we're talking about doing freestyle tricks on street. We're talking about skateboarding, video games again, and my YouTube career. Let's do it. Welcome back to Rad Rat Video, a channel about skateboarding where we talk about all different kinds of topics, including ones that you guys submit. The first one today is from Alex S., who says, watching old Rodney Mullen videos, you will recognize that he spins a lot, and many freestyle skater were inspired by him doing so. My question, on a normal manual, how many spins are humanly possible? If you have the time, I would like to know the same for Primo spins, truck stand spins, and Casper spins too. So Rodney Mullen did not invent doing 360 spins. Those were one of the original contests, you know, like doing a high jump where you would jump off your board and clear a bar and land back on your board. That was one of the old school things you could do. You could do a 360 spin competition and then eventually pools and freestyle and stuff like that. So 360 spins were ancient. One of the first things anyone ever tried to do on a skateboard. And yeah, there were a lot of freestylers who did try to adapt it. Rodney Mullen could do quite a few, but the world record holder is Richie Carrasco, who did 142 on August 11th, 2000. I don't see any updated world record after that. That is the official Guinness World Record, 142 360 spins. And it's interesting because there are steel wheels that you can get for these, and you can still buy them. They're on skatekings.com, skate with an E, or skate with an 8, not with an E. Why would there be an E? Anyway, so yeah, there's these steel wheels and they're like cones. And you know, the thing is, if you're going to spin 142 times, you can't have soft wheels that are going to absorb and slow you down. You want it to be rock hard and just have really smooth ground. And that way you're not losing any of your speed to like the wheel deforming. So yeah, you can get steel wheels and try to do that. Doing like 30 is considered good. I can do, I don't know, 3. I'm not really good at anything balance related because I'm super tall. My balance is just terrible. Yeah, I think I've done like 3 total. But if you want to get into it, you generally want to learn them backside on your tail. You can do off the nose, like sometimes there would be a line. Different freestylers would do it, but you would do like a nose wheelie, which is what you call a manual if you're not on an obstacle, whatever. And you are turning with it. You're kind of carving. When you come to a stop, you spin a couple of times, you know. There's different ways you can do it. But if you want to break the record, you got to do it on the tail and you got to do it backside. As far as Caspers and truck stands and stuff like that, I think doing more than 5 is going to be basically impossible because, you know, it's grip tape and wood grinding against concrete in a circle. You're not going to be able to keep your speed that well, regardless of your balance, regardless of how hard you wind up to start. It's just going to slow you down too quick. So yeah, I don't have like numbers on this. I'm not doing a big math equation to figure it out because I went nowhere to start. But yeah, so 142 on steel wheels, probably about 5 for other things. Okay, next question is from Noah Baird, who says, do you do YouTube full-time? I'm seeing more and more people become full-time YouTubers, and I'm starting to wonder if you do it full-time. No, I do not even close. And I'll give you behind the scenes stuff and numbers and everything if you're curious about it. So I work full time, if not significantly more. This whole year at least has, and into December, I think December is when I really started to get extremely busy, and it's been all the way up until now through lockdown. It's gotten worse since lockdown because all of my clients are at home bored and they want me to make stuff for them, you know, like update their websites. And you know, every single website you go to has the banner at the top that says like, here's our response to the crisis or whatever. I'm the guy making all those. So I'm extremely busy right now. I'm working full time on the weekends too. Like, it's rough. So yeah, definitely not a full-time YouTuber, and I could definitely not afford it either. So in March, I think I published a lot more stuff than normal. I had my Muska videos. That might have been the end of, well, they got a lot of their views in March anyway. And I posted tons of stuff in March. I got a lot of views and I got a lot less money than normal. And I made, I don't know, like $300 or something like that. You know, I'll just tell you, that was roughly about that. And that was pretty low. The most I've ever made, I believe, was like 900, something like that. So if I were to make $900 a month, Obviously, that's not a full-time wage. I couldn't pay off my whatever. Obviously, that's not enough to live off of. So I have my Patreon, and I think that made like $66 last month or something like that. So the very best month I could have would be roughly $1,000 a month. It's just not going to happen. There's no way for me to stop working. And I'm not sure I would want to. So like, let's say I have about 50,000 subscribers now. My videos get a couple thousand views. My average subscriber watches 1 in 10 videos, it seems. So if I were to get about 10 times as many subscribers as I have now, about 500,000, I could make $10,000 a month, right? That works. Like on the very best month, I'd be making like 9,000. So on an average month, maybe 8,000 or something like that. Now that'd be fine to live off of as a full-time wage. The problem though is that it's on YouTube. And YouTube has had the adpocalypse. It's had adpocalypse 2. It's having the current adpocalypse, which is different, where it's, just people aren't running ads because their businesses are closed. So this one isn't YouTube's fault, but still it affects anyone who's trying to make money on here. There's COPPA. So the thing about COPPA is if I say my videos are not for kids, which they're not, but the government disagrees, I have to pay a $40,000 fine, So like if you put all your eggs into the YouTube basket, it's super risky, and I wouldn't want to do that. For $10,000 a month, sure, I'd probably risk it, and I would quit my other stuff, and I would make a lot more content for the channel, and hopefully just not get shut down by something before I'm able to save up enough to live off of for a while. But yeah, that's probably not gonna happen. So my channel growth, it was about 3 years ago, I think I had 5,000. It might have been 4 years ago. I don't remember. I went to Puerto Rico and I came home. I left and I had 5,000. I came home and I had like 15. Like, I don't know how it happened, but I had about 5,000. And then 3 years later, I had 50. So maybe if the growth continues to rise the same speed in another 3 years, I'll have 500,000. But that's probably not going to happen. And the way that YouTube is going, it's harder and harder to make money off of it. That's why everyone has Patreon. That's why everyone sells shirts and stuff like that. I've had a lot of ideas for other stuff I can sell to try to keep the channel to making money. But for the most part, it's just a hobby. It makes enough that I don't feel like I'm wasting my time, but it doesn't make enough that I can treat it like a job. And I don't want to do a lot of the other stuff. I don't want to do a sponsored spot at the beginning where I tell you about how you can download a free book on Audible. I don't want to do any of that stuff. I think it's really, I don't know. I get why people do that. I get the economics of it. I understand you can make thousands of dollars every time you do that if your channel's big, and that can put food on the table, that can keep your channel alive. But considering how much I work normally, it seems like I just don't need to sink to that level. And I would have had to be doing that all along. I don't think I can get this far. I've been on this channel for, I think, 5 years, or this is my 5th year, so maybe like 4.5 or something like that. But for me to suddenly start doing that kind of stuff would be really weird, and I wouldn't feel comfortable doing it anyway. So, yeah, I'm not really doing the professional YouTuber stuff to stay afloat with that kind of thing because I have my work. Patreon helps fill in some of the gaps, and the ads, are nice, are a nice supplement to my normal income. So that's about as far as I think it's going to go. If it keeps growing and growing and growing, maybe I'll start dropping clients and putting more time into it. But at this point, it's just so much safer to have clients that I bill by the hour instead of hoping that YouTube sticks around. So yeah, we'll see about the future. It wasn't ever like a dream of mine to be a full-time YouTuber or anything like that. It's just a fun side hobby, and it makes enough to take care of itself, basically. I should mention, I did my taxes last year, and on cameras and computer upgrades and stuff like that, I spent like $3,000 on the channel, somewhere like that. Buying games that I would review on the channel, all this type of stuff. It ended up being somewhere around there. It was in different categories, so I don't have the exact number. So yeah, you make $500-$600 a month on an average month, spend $3,000. Like, this is not a full-time thing. Okay. Next question is from Conrad. Hey, Rad, I just found your YouTube channel a few days ago, and I watched a ton of your videos in that time. I was wondering, have you ever been approached by a TV producer to take your concept to the next level? And would you be interested if they did? I love the minimalist history lesson and stories behind the legends that you're providing. Okay. He says like a Fuel TV skateboard historian type of thing. And no, I have not. And I don't think that's something I would want to do. Like I was just saying, I grouped these questions together because they're similar. It's not really something I would want to do, day in and day out, full time, turn into a job, have it be on TV. That seems like a little bit too extreme. This is my hobby. This is a fun part-time thing I do, and I may pour more hours into it if I can afford to, but it's not ever going to be like that. And I, of course, haven't been approached. The only thing I got an email saying that they wanted to start a channel on Roku, like a Roku Rad Rat channel or something like that. And I was like, it seemed legit, but something about it didn't feel right. And I didn't know what that entailed. Like every video would have to be reformatted. And, every time I say like, oh, go here to watch this video, like that doesn't work on Roku. So like, I don't know. I don't know if that was real. It might've been, but I didn't feel like getting into that because you can sell a subscription on there and stuff and like, cool. But the thing is with my work, I can't promise a certain content at a certain time. And that's what it would be like to be on TV. I almost went into TV working on the news because I learned how to do some of that stuff, like, cutting together footage and all that kind of stuff. And I went on a tour of the news station. And this was in Flint. And it was crazy. So like the news goes on at 6. At 5:50, you as the guy cutting all the footage is getting rework edits from the producer saying like, hey, we need, zoom in on this lady's face more so you can't see this thing in the background. It seemed like just panic level stress all day, every day. And so for me to produce a show for a TV station that would be at a regular time, like I'm just not going to do that. I will produce stuff as I can, and YouTube is a much better fit for that. Going into TV, I mean, no one's asked, but if they did, the answer would be no. Okay. Next question is from Jawa or Luke. Do you think skateboarding games should strive to be more realistic or strive to be more fictional? Both. I want both. I loved the Skate series, and I'm really excited about Session and Skater XL. These games are all great. I love being able to just sit back and find a spot, come up with a line, and try to put together something and film it when I'm done and put together stuff. It really scratches the same itch as skateboarding when you can't go skate or when you're not very good or you don't have any friends to film or whatever. Like, that has its role, and it's great, and I love that stuff. I would also love to see a new arcade skateboarding game, though, and like an authentic one. That's where I think the big issue comes in, because if you watch the channel a lot, you've seen me play a lot of old games. There's one on the GameCube. I can't think of the name of it right now. I'll find it and link it right here. Sorry for anyone watching on my Roku channel, but it's right here, and it has like cartoony tricks, so none of the tricks are real. You don't hit a button and do a kickflip or a pop shove it or an impossible. It does like whatever weird cartoony move that it came up with. And that I don't like. I want it to be authentic skateboarding, but just extreme. I want it to be, I think the Tony Hawk series had a really good mix of that. All of the tricks you could do were real tricks, except for the special tricks, which went a little bit crazy. You could get a lot higher than normal. You're perfectly consistent and your balance is amazing. But as far as like the stuff you're doing, it all made sense in a way. And I would love to see a new arcade style series like that. No one seems to be making one. I technically know of two, but they're like, fan projects or one guy working real hard on it. I'm not talking like a studio is making one. So yeah, I don't know. I would really like something like that. There's a new Tony Hawk game in the works, it seems. We'll see. That's probably not going to be what I want, but hopefully something like that comes out eventually. The next question is from Guy B, who says, what do you think about street video parts that include freestyle tricks done on street obstacles with speed, like Rodney Mullen in Almost Round 3, for example? Do you think it can fit into a pure street skate movie? I think this is something that was debated on Freestyle forums for a million years, and everyone got really heated about it. It's the fact that the flat ground ollie, the kickflip, the 360 flip, the shove it, all this stuff, these are freestyle tricks anyway. So like a pure street video would be like bonelesses and no complies and slappies. If it had no freestyle in it at all, you would technically have to take all that stuff out. So there's this really weird line that's being drawn, and it's kind of hard to determine where that line is and why it's there. So if you were to see a line with a 360 finger flip in it, guy does a crook down a handrail, and then he does the 360 finger flip, and then he goes and he does a lip slide down the second rail. Why not? That would be sweet. Like a 360 finger flip at speed in a street line. Why is that not a street trick? Why can't that be a street trick? Why couldn't you do that on a bank or do it over, like a hip somewhere or something like that? You could. There's no reason why you couldn't. But a lot of these tricks just never made that transition, and they're stuck as being freestyle tricks that you're not allowed to do on street. But yeah, I do really like that kind of stuff, and I think it makes it a lot more interesting. So, imagine you're watching your favorite street skater, and he's found a bank somewhere. First trick he does a 360 flip to fakie. Lands it, cuts to the next trick. He's rolling up backwards. You think he's going to do like a cab flip, but instead he does a half cab, catches it on the truck. There's a truck stand, flips out of that, and lands back down. That'd be really cool. Like, that would be not what you were expecting. It would be a lot more interesting. And you do see some of that stuff every now and then from like 3 different guys who do it. But it's just not common. First of all, freestyle is really, really hard. But second of all, it just doesn't get any respect. Recently, because of the lockdown, Chris Haslam posted, I forget what the trick was, but it was a really crazy, I think it was a truck transfer that he did, like a freestyle, catch the board on the truck, throw the board in the air, land on the other truck type of thing. If I remember correctly, it was something like that. It was it was a legitimately hard freestyle trick. And, but you can't just post that. He can't do that in his video part that he put out recently. He has to do it as a silly, I'm stuck indoors, what am I going to do? Or I'm stuck at the house. It was outside, but I'm stuck at the house. I guess I'll do something weird. Even though that's a really hard trick that took lots of practice and took a lot of skill and experience to do, you still have to kind of brush it off as this silly thing that you did for fun. It can't be real skateboarding, And that I think is a problem, because there's a lot of really cool stuff. There is a lot of lame stuff in freestyle that I don't like, though. Most stuff on the truck, because people use truck stand for the no-handed version. So I'm talking about all kinds of truck stuff. I typically don't do it because my balance isn't that great, and I refuse to hop. I'm not gonna, because what you can do, let's say you're standing on the board, you're on the truck, the board starts to tip this way, you start to lose balance, you hop and pull the board over here, and then you're centered again. I don't like that. I don't like how it looks. I don't want to do it. But that kind of makes it so much easier to do those tricks. So there's a lot of stuff that I wouldn't do, and that wouldn't fit into a video part anyway. Imagine someone does a 360 flip, crooked grind, pop out. Next clip is a backside flip down a big gap. Clip after that is a stationary trick where he's hopping around on the board, and it's a minute-long clip of him keeping his balance, and then he flips it, then he catches it, and then I get that stuff wouldn't fit. But if you could do some stuff with speed, Casper slides, or doing stuff on a bank like the truck stands, or a 360 finger flip, or handstand in a line, or a 50-50 grind, then you go up into a handstand in the middle, finger flip out, I think that stuff fits just fine in street, because all street is freestyle anyway. So yeah, I don't know. Also, your term of a pure street video seems kind of weird and outdated these days anyway. You can do anything you want. I get having a theme to a video part, but a whole video having to be street, I don't know, seems kind of old school, but it might just be me. If you have more questions for me, go to radratvideo.com and submit them on the homepage form. You can also submit them through Patreon. You can also subscribe by tapping my logo on the screen, and hit the like button and share with your friends and all that kind of stuff to help keep the channel going, and I will see you next time. Thanks for watching.